Welcome back, everybody. A recent work trip had me in Kansas City, Missouri. I was pleasantly surprised to find Worlds of Fun, a theme park with an annual Halloween attraction called Haunt. It was a bit rainy, and I was a little disappointed because I only had one evening to experience this fun event. So I grabbed an umbrella, decided to make it work. That rain lasted all of about half an hour until I got into the park, and then I had to carry around an umbrella for the rest of the day. The weather ended up being absolutely wonderful, as was this park. I love the theming that they've put into this. I'm used to some of the larger theme park events, Halloween Horror Nights, Not Scary Farms, and this one can hold its own against them. Look at these great skeleton men and women there. The theming around the park is top-notch. Loved the decorations. Here's a stage that we're going to take a look at a little bit later when there was a show. So there were two scare zones, which kind of surprises me here. This looked like I thought it was going to be a scare zone. They have all of this sort of circus-y atmosphere. There was a circus-themed show. I wasn't able to see it. I did try. I couldn't find where it was supposed to be. And that was my main complaint with this entire park experience. The map and the show times and everything that was listed on it, completely incomprehensible. And I am an avid theme park goer, so I shouldn't have had any problem deciphering what was going on, but I absolutely did. I couldn't tell what was supposed to be a show versus a theme park. I ended up waiting for what I thought was a show, where it said it was starting at 7:30. I stood there waiting for something to happen. Turns out it was a scare zone that opened at 7:30, and then the scare zone never even happened, it looked like, the whole night. We'll get to that in a minute. But overall, I had a lot of fun. There were two main scare zones, apparently, a couple of different shows, and I think 6 haunted houses. And this was, I think, the main gift shop. It looked like they had Halloween merchandise in most of them, but I really loved the theming of this one. Look at this bat chair. Oh my gosh, I wish I had that in my haunt last year. It would have gone perfectly with my vampire theme. Now, I was really tempted to come and buy one of these shirts at the end of the night. And if you know me, I'd never buy souvenirs hardly. So they had some really great merchandise for me to want to do that. But in the end, I was so tired, I ended up just leaving. I was here by myself for the whole night. Like I said, I was here for work and just happened to find my way to the park. And I wanted to see what it was all about and show you guys around. Unfortunately, we're not able to go into any of the haunted houses and film. So this is kind of like a walk-around experience here to show you what was there and my experiences. This was an Alice in Wonderland theme. I think they called it Malice in Wonderland. I was very excited to see this, but this was a scare zone that never materialized. I don't know what happened. Looks like they had lots of fun scenic pieces to work with. It should have been really exciting. Got statues that are really well done throughout the park. Now, as we're crossing under this bridge, there was lots of fog everywhere throughout the night. This was the other scare zone. It was something about Wild West theme, so they had sort of zombie cowboys wandering around. I wish I could have showed you, but by the time they all came out, it was so dark I couldn't really get anything on film. But they had a lot of great scenic pieces like this horse around that we can certainly see during the day. Not really sure how the Wizard of Oz fits in, but I kind of feel like some of this display stuff was from perhaps previous years' theming. And I think that's probably why I like a lot of the displays around here, because they are probably from previous displays and they just built upon it year after year. Not really sure what was going on with this stage. It might have just been for display. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of information. It was hard to decipher a lot of what was going on, but this would have been a cool place for someone to come and sing. But let's go ahead and make our way into the first haunted house of the night, and I must say their haunted houses were top-notch. I really enjoyed them. So here were a couple. There were Blood on the Bayou and Ripper Alley. Loved that clock tower. Really well done. So we're going to go ahead and wander through the line, make our way up to the entrance of this haunted house. And this is where I got a little bit uncomfortable. So I am used to the larger theme park haunted house experiences where they send you in either very large groups or a giant conga line through the display. No, not here. Here you get a much more personal experience when you're going through the haunted house. They take you in your individual groups, but since I was by myself, I was wondering and honestly kind of dreading what was going to happen when I get up to the front of the line. It was different in the different haunted houses. This one sent me through with another group, which was kind of awkward because they were a couple and here I was just sort of tagging along with them. Another haunted house sent me through alone, and I'm not sure which is worse because there's a lot of interaction in these haunted houses. It's not just people jumping at you, it's people like coming up to you, like holding a severed head and be like, do you like my severed head? That sort of thing. And I'm not good at that sort of interaction. I like to sit and watch. So with that said, let's go ahead and sit and watch this parade. So we did make it into that first haunted house before the sort of kickoff event, which happened at the front of the park. I tried to make my way to see it, but I was a little too slow. But I did catch the parade that passed through that kind of introduces you to all of the characters. So these guys are from Pumpkin Eater Dead Harvest, survived the wrath of the murderous 7-foot-tall creature that haunts the old woods surrounding the Hollow. Not really sure how the Corvette or whatever that was fits into anything. But up next, we have Corn Stalkers. Out of the abyss of corn come those who stalk the living each night of Halloween haunt. Very creepy. It's one of those outdoor ones I'm not too thrilled to go through by myself. Alright, next up, we have the characters from Zombie High. After an incurable outbreak of an unknown virus, the administration of Cleaver High School was left running from the brain-hungry, bloodthirsty undead swarming from the school grounds. In Bloodshed, the McDonald's family invites you forward to tour their meat-packing, body-hacking factory of fear. We also have Scare Zones represented, Outlaw's Revenge, as I talked about, and Malice in Wonderland. Following them, it looks like we've got Blood on the Bayou coming up. High on the hill, the cursed mansion sits near blood-red bogs filled with the roaming spirits ready to tear the life from their next victims. We also have Ripper Alley. Jack the Ripper is on the loose and has petrified the citizens of Whitechapel with a reign of bloody terror. And then next up we have Lore of the Vampire. Each night of Halloween haunt, you can journey into the catacombs and tombs of the most feared creatures of Transylvania to bear witness to the abomination of the Children of the Night. And then last up, we have the Haunt Overlord. So he, I think, is only present in that first opening show that I did not get to see, unfortunately. But as we watch him pass, he certainly looks very creepy. And now that he has awakened all of the characters of the haunt, it is time to go exploring some more. So this is the Malice in Wonderland at night. Again, stood around waiting. I thought it was a show. I thought something was going to happen on that stage. Didn't realize it was a scare zone. And then nothing ever happened. I waited for probably 20 minutes after the 7:30 start time, which is why I thought it was a show. And again, nothing. Just children running around terrorizing everything, knocking over all of the displays like these chess pieces, climbing all over the displays. I mean, must have been fun. You got to do something since there were no scare actors there to entertain you any other way. But there was a whole lot of fog, and it was kind of creepy. Sometimes, I think I actually walked into somebody once. There was actually a lot of skunks as well. Even when I sat down to eat dinner, there was one right under my table. I just ignored it, left it alone, and it left me alone. Alright, this is Blood on the Bayou, which, again, another fantastic house. The scenes inside were so well done and amazing. Room after room of intricate displays. I am really impressed with what they were able to do. I got to creep along with another group in this haunted house too, so I didn't feel so awkward. Just stick to the back and really enjoy the displays. They had not only fantastic scenes, but they had giant puppets and everything. It was just fantastic. I wish I could say the same thing about the shows. I only got to see the one. I ended up leaving it early. It kind of felt like I was watching a high school musical production. And next up, we have Lore of the Vampires Haunted House. This was probably one of my favorites. So honestly, the first 3 that I went through, the indoor haunted houses, I think were the best. This one was on 2 different floors, lots of scares, lots of fantastic scenery. But as you can see, it was getting a little too dark to be even filming outside at this point. Again, we can't really go in anyway, so we're just going to take a look at some of the entrances to the last couple of these haunted houses. The Zombie High, again, it was great. Loved it. It was the outdoor ones that are coming up next that I didn't quite enjoy so much, just because there was so much neat scenery on the indoor haunted houses that the outdoor ones just couldn't compare. And I think that's because, how much can you do with corn stalks and outdoor buildings, right? The inside ones just had so much more magic to them, I think, in my opinion. But here was the Pumpkin Eater one. I love the graphics on these displays. Again, really good job. I think this was the first one that I had to go through by myself. And let me just tell you how awkward that was, especially in these long walk outdoor ones where these characters can see you coming from like a mile away. And they don't necessarily know how to interact with just a single person either, because you don't have that group dynamic and energy to build off of and play off of. So I felt awkward just walking up to them as they stare at me coming, and they must have felt the same way. So I think I didn't get quite as much interaction as if I were in a group. But I didn't want interaction anyway, so it all kind of worked out okay. Last one was Bloodshed. I heard some people say that this was their favorite one of the evening. This was probably the goriest one. A meat packing facility, hacking up all sorts of things. So if you're into that, this is certainly for you. Might not be for the kids, but kids aren't supposed to be here unaccompanied, even though some asked me to escort them in because everyone seemed to flaunt that rule. So that was the last of the haunted houses. I'm just showing you this clip because I forgot to shoot something for an end shot, but I really enjoyed my day. I got to see all of the haunted houses in plenty of time to even get out relatively early. But if you wanted to stay, you could ride the rides and have a good time all night. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, take care. Happy haunting.